inequalities is when we join two inequalities. So you're going to be talking about something and something is the first possibility. Something or something is the second possibility. And the main difference between these is what their graph looks like. But if you can solve inequalities, you can solve compound inequalities. It's just how you graph it that's a little different. So an and inequality, when you graph it, would be something like this, where we kind of talked about this a little bit at the end of one of our day of notes, where the two values connect, and this is where all the possible answers could be, between this and that. That's the and compound inequality. Or tells us that our answers could go either less than this or greater than that. It'll make more sense when you see how they're given to, how the actual question is given to you.
So what? On the outside that we shade darker?
Say that again?
So we shade the outside darker?
Right, so this is going in this direction and this is going in that direction.
Okay.
I think maybe it's the lighting that's not helping because there's a reflection, maybe. Does that look better now that there's not a reflection?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So this is where we have a number, x in the middle, and then another number. So what I actually have here are two separate inequalities. I have this one that's going to have a red border around it, and I have this one that has a blue border around it. So this would be considered an and inequality because the x is in the middle. X can be greater than -8 and less than 4. Excuse me, less than or equal to 4. Yes?
How can the left one is the left like circles that open and the right one's closed?
Correct. Yep.
And the same other side?
Yep. So this is telling me x is greater than or equal to -8. X is less than or equal to 4. The or compound inequalities are pretty obvious because they have the word or in them. They will always contain the word or. There'll be no mystery. So right away, you're going to know that your arrows are going to go in opposite directions. So x is less than or equal to -1, or greater than or equal to 2. I don't have to do any color coding on this because it's just that obvious that it's going in opposite directions. There's nothing that overlaps. Okay. Guys ready to build on this? Exciting. Who was your sub in here yesterday?
I think it's Costa, is it?
Oh, Mrs. Costa? Yeah. Okay. Here we go. -4 is less than x minus 2, which is less than 3. What? Why is that so weird? What am I going to do here? This is so confusing. How will I survive? Lucky for you guys, we color code. So what we really have here is this inequality outlined in red and this inequality outlined in blue. So the middle, this is kind of like a funky Venn diagram. This x minus 2 goes with this -4, and it goes this way with the 3. PK.
What if you don't have blue?
I'm sorry?
What if you don't have blue?
Use any color. It doesn't have to match mine. Just as long as you have 2 separate colors so you can see the difference. Right? So in order to solve this, I'm going to solve a red inequality and I'm going to solve a blue inequality. So I outlined them so I could visually see which inequality was which. And then I'm going to solve both using my powers of solving inequality. Addie?
Could you just done it like up there, or would that get like confusing, like without running the separate 2 equations?
If you can make that work, they are going to get a little more complex, but if you can, I'm not going to stop you. As long as you get the right answer and I can see your work, I'm happy about that. So now what I have is x is greater than -2, but less than 5. And then I'm going to graph that down here as best I can. Not going to be super pretty because it's kind of stuck in here. Notice I have open points on both spots. So what that means mathematically is that any value between 2 and 5 will work for that inequality. Oh, yeah, that's supposed to be a -2. Thank you. Any value will work between those. -1. They're both open circles. Yep. See, not too bad, right? You already know how to do this. We're just smushing them together and making one. MJ, you good? Sure. Okay, let's go on to the next page. We just have 2 more 2 more examples. So exact same process. I'm going to create a red inequality and a blue inequality. I'm going to solve them. I wish these desks were bigger. Yep. Okay, so I had to flip the sign because I was dividing by a negative here. So these look a little strange, but it's the same idea. I still have x is greater than -4, and x is less than 2 when I combine them into one inequality. And then I'm going to graph it.
Yeah, shouldn't it be less than?
There we go. Thank you. Grace, how you feeling? Good? Not so bad, right? You can do this. All right, our last example is an or. And like I said, you're going to know it because you're going to see the word or. Don't let the y's confuse you. You can use any variable for these. So I'm just going to solve them both separately and then graph them both separately. That's it. That's our compound inequalities. Yes. So if you have it that way in your notes, if you want to leave it that way, that's fine, but as long as it matches on your notes, but yes. Questions, comments, or concerns for the good of the group? None? Amazing. I'm going to get you guys your study guide.